Greetings, my fellow airsoft nerds. I am James. This is my large Alice rucksack, and that is Bo off to the side, who is taking a nap. We're going to be going over what I am personally taking to the Kharkiv pocket, road to Kharkiv. I forgot what we're on right now. It's the Clovis Milsom West event for February of 2025. The Kharkiv something I forgot. I am going militia. I've got about 6 dudes on my militia squad right now. So some of the stuff I'm going to do is sort of like, hey, I'm doing this more for the group than myself personally. I'm going to go over my ruck setup on the outside, some of the mods that I have done, and how this is going to work on the inside, and like how I've packed it. Here's how my ruck looks on the outside. Standard Alice pack. On the side here, I just have a pouch. Now, backstory, a very nice player gave me this at Colorado. It had a e-tool in it. That e-tool was super broken, but I kept this pouch, and it is now eternally on my bag holding a poncho. I still have the original straps and kidney pad to it. At some point, I'll replace the shoulder straps, but they're still in really good condition. I did install this OE Innovations handle because I'm too lazy to make my own paracord handle. On the in the kidney pad section right in here. Hi, Bo. I keep a rucksack cover. I have heard these things suck, so that's also why I have my poncho on the side, because Kharkiv will probably rain a whole lot, and there's no such thing as too much wet weather gear. Nemo sleep pad on the bottom. I just took a couple mini bungees and just bungeed it inside. That way I don't have to really do anything crazy to it. I don't like putting them on the top because I just don't want to block my access to the ruck. I've got 2 tarp stakes right in here. They go into, so they're pretty secure in this little guy right in here. But I also zip tied a small bag and secured it with this little D-ring. In here is where I keep my tent stakes. And this is where I keep my tent stakes. I made a couple caps out of electrical tape and some paper towels just so that they don't tear, because they're pointed, they're tipped, so just so they don't pierce through any of my material in the fabric, so I just made caps for them. The rucksack itself, I hit with a couple coats of Scotch Guard just to give it a little bit of water resistance. Depending on how I choose to edit this, oh, there's a cameo by Bo. Hi, Bo, look at the camera. Turn around. He went the other direction, but he turned around. Depending on how I edit this, I might be kind of double tapping a few things. We're just going to do it and see what happens. So the external mods that I have done to it, I did put on the, see if you can kind of see this from here, the OE Innovations clips for the main compartment and my pockets as well. Just because if you're familiar with that old system, you know, it's kind of trash. There are so many Alice Pack mods online. I don't really keep a lot of like, I need this right now in my rucksack, because that's what I have my Smursh for in my butt pack. So a lot of this is just like my RV on my back. So in this pouch, this is where I keep my jet boil and, you know, some of my cooking needs and stuff like that. I might also keep like some condiments and stuff like that, but my food, my meals are actually physically in my ruck. My middle compartment is just like extra rope and tie down for tarps and tents, bungees and a couple spare bungees in case I need them, stuff like, just like some extra stuff. Same thing with my other side pocket. It's just like some extra tie downs basically, because I don't know how crazy everything's gonna get. You can never have too many tie downs when you're going in a big group. I also have a couple multicolor glow stick packs that are like the size of your finger. I put these just as a safety for everyone else, depending on where I put my tent or my shelter. I put these where my tent stakes are on the posts. So like, if you're familiar with like an A-frame setup, you know, it's like rod, stake, and then ropes that keep the stakes up. Well, if someone knocks one of those over in the middle of the night while it's raining, that's gonna suck. So I have the smaller ones, so they're not as noticeable, but they're still visible from the naked eye when you're stumbling around looking for a place to take a piss at 2 in the morning. All right, once we crack this bad boy open, whoop, I hit the inside of the, you notice it's super shiny. That is a clear coat of Flex Seal. I got about 2 or 3 coats on that. The exterior of the ruck itself, I put like 2 coats of Scotch Guard on there just for a little extra water resistance. On the very top, the first thing is this poncho in its cute little bag, so it sits on top and hopefully pushes more water out, basically. So when I drop ruck, I'm usually going off to fight somewhere, but I've already got all the stuff I need physically on my person in my Smersh. Or if I'm dropping ruck, I'm setting up camp for the night, and the first thing I'm going to want to do is set up a shelter. I've got this REI 12x12. Now, the reason I bought such a big tarp is for my guys. So I'm running about a 5-person squad right now. It might end up being like 8 persons. Persons? One of the big lessons learned I got out of Colorado was teamwork in a shelter environment, basically. So, I was running, if you go back and watch the Colorado video I did for Melson West, or the Colorado event, I was running PL with Sean, who was PSG. Sean put up his, I think it was just like a standard A-frame pup tent basically in the middle of the night, but it had rained so hard where he had set his shelter up, the ground got so soft that his tent stakes basically uprooted, which collapsed his shelter and got him wet. And so he was out of shelter and he was kind of a wet puppy in the middle of the night. Thankfully, he was over to scoot over to Sam's shelter. Sam had a big old tarp like this set up, and he was good to go. I gave him a fresh pair of socks. We just kind of like pieced him together some warm stuff. But point being, I would rather have a big tarp that if I don't need it, I can make into a small tarp and just like fold it in half basically. Or if I need a shelter so big for like 2 guys, shelters go down, or if something happens, they can just shack up with me for the night and we'll just survive the rain. That's basically the school of thought on a big old tarp. Now, downside. This is pretty thin, so I am most likely going to be putting one of these ponchos over it towards the side, like facing the direction that probably will get attacked from. Because what I don't want to happen is over the course of time, this shelter just gets peppered with BBs and I got to buy another tarp. That would kind of suck. So basically, all my guys in my squad are having them take an extra poncho just so we could throw as like a BB ballistic layer for the tarp. Once you open the bag as an additional water protective layer, or a rainproof layer, I just threw a giant, I think this is a 30-gallon trash bag in here, and this has almost everything I need. So I don't have my food in there. I have my food in this back pouch that they have. Now, some guys cut this little pocket out. I actually like it because this is where I'll put all my meals. I have a few more meals I'm going to put in here also, but this is where I keep all my meals. Now, I don't need to put this in an additional protective layer because it's already in a sealed bag. I'm good. And on the bottom, I also have my sleep system because this is sitting on top. This is a bivy bag already. I don't need to throw a bunch of stuff in there. Plus, once I have the tarp set up, once I have everything to go, all I need to do to get my sleep system set up, yank this bag out, yank this out, put that bag back in my ruck, everything's consolidated, cleaned up, and dry. This is my new sleep setup. So if you were familiar with how I ran previous Milson West events, you remember I had that M81 Amazon bivy. Now, it was perfectly fine for what it was, an $80 amazing bivy, and it did a real good job. The problem would run in when I would like take it, you know how sometimes you put your blanket over your face like that? Well, you breathe, it hits the waterproof, rainproof layer, and your condensation comes back in your face and gets your bag wet and gets you wet, and you don't really realize that until you wake up the next morning and go, oh no, what happened? So, the workaround, I got a Marine Corps improved bivy, which has this cool little see-through net, so I can pull this over my face and not have to worry about my condensation or my breath coming back in here, because I can still breathe. I tested this out at Frostbite, just camping in the parking lot. Way better. This is such a better option for me than the old bivy that I had, because once I pull this up and over my face, my body heat and all the heat that's generated inside here is going to stay in there a lot better than if I didn't have this over my face, which is cool. The downside that I didn't realize until I spent some time in here was once I pull this over, like I'd zip this up a little and I got really claustrophobic. Now that didn't last too long. Once I was just like, wait, why am I claustrophobic in here? Oh, because my arms are inside and I can't really move. Okay, yeah, cool. But I just don't think I'd ever done this before, which is why my body was like, whoa, what's this? Why can't we move? But we can see things. Like, I got over that by the second night at Frostbite, so that's not really a problem. Inside, I have an REI Hunker Down because it's going to be a lot colder, so I'm just going to stick with this guy. It's rated at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. We pretty much, if you're a backpacker, you know that like the temperature ratings are crap. I don't believe this one has an EN rating, but this has done me very well at Clovis and all the other colder events I go to before, so who cares? The one mod that I did do for this is I took Velcro, some Velcro strips, and I put them at the feet of this. So what used to happen, and anyone that's used a bivy system independent of their sleeping bag will attest to this, is you can kind of move around and you sort of get mixed-matched and off-centered. I kind of move around a lot. So like your bag will spin around in your bag, or correction, your sleeping bag will spin around with you in your bivy, and you'll kind of like disorient yourself a little bit, which was kind of why I was also getting a little bit claustrophobic, I think, because I'd wake up and like not really know how to get out of the bag, which is stupid, whatever. So point being, I took, it's right in here because you can almost see the two patches right here and right here. This is just Velcro. Oh, what are you doing? This is just Velcro that I put at the foot of my sleeping bag and at the foot of the bivy. So now it won't move around, and it works very well. Bowtail. Inside the trash bag for rain protection, I have my Gorka jacket, tried and true. This is the Mordor. The size is 52 by 54 3-4. I'm about 6 foot 215. It fits me just fine. The problem with this is it's just canvas, so it does a decent job of keeping me dry, but it doesn't do much for warmth. So this is just sort of like an additional layer for me, which I kind of like. So you can fill that with another layer if you want. You have a lot of options with layering. I'm also going to be running this REI rain jacket that Santa Claus got me for Christmas, which is really cool. And it's also green, so almost all my gear is going to have a green theme to it, so I don't get confused for NATO. These Carhartt Biv overalls saved my butt in Colorado. They are rainproof, or waterproof, I should say, and they don't really have a lot of thick insulation in them, and they breathe really well. So from about Saturday night to the index on Sunday morning in Colorado, I took my regular pants off and I was wearing these as pants. So it was just like underwear, then these. I wasn't double layering. I wasn't using like my pants and these over it. No, that's chaos. So I used these, I wore these as pants basically, and I was able to go on mission, able to do stuff, move around without like getting too hot. Colorado wasn't too terribly cold on Sunday. It was pretty comfortable, I would say, but it was raining like hell. So I just kept these on. I was perfectly fine. This is my little like extra goodie bag of little creature comforts. This is actually the bag that my ponchos come in. So this is the bag for that poncho on my ruck. I have extra gloves, either mechanics gloves. I have thick socks for sleeping, basically, if I need them. A merino wool green patrol cap, a little cappy in there. Rain gloves in case I need another pair of gloves. These are really nice. These are the ones that I got for Christmas that my sister-in-law got me 2 years ago for Christmas, but I wore them in the 2024 Kharkiv event. Really came in clutch. And then I have a couple extra balaclavas if I need them. It's just a little bag where I'll keep certain things that'll just kind of make me a little extra more comfortable. The big thing when you are sleeping in the cold is staying warm. Because if you're warm, you can keep sleeping instead of constantly waking up going, oh God, it's so cold, I can't sleep. Because if that happens, then you're kind of screwing yourself for the next day's operations because you're just going to be tired and grumpy and not want to go out. And you're just going to stay in your tent like a bitch and not fucking do anything. And then at the very bottom, again, in case I need it, I have my fancy civilian-made whoopee blanket, and I gotta kind of tuck the rest of this stuff back in here. This is my Kifaru double insulated or double layered, whatever it's called, Kifaru whoopee. I got it from my homegirl Alyssa. It's like 160 bucks. I have used this itself as a blanket for certain events and certain temperatures, and as long as it's not like crazy cold, this thing works by itself as a blanket. But what I will also do is if for some reason it is so cold that, you know, my clothes, my layers inside of a sleeping bag, inside of a bivvy ain't doing it, I have this as an extra thermal layer just in case. Or in my squad or in my platoon, if someone finds themselves inadequately layered for sleeping or whatever, I have this that I can loan them as an emergency layer, which is kind of one of the main things that I do when I pack my gear, is I will take a few extra things just to keep dudes dry and warm, just in case, because if you've done enough Milsim West events where it's not a sunny spring day the entire time, you know dudes bring scuffed rain gear and scuffed ass wet weather or extra thermal gear or cold weather gear, and they're just like shivering like a wet cat in a corner somewhere, and you're like, dude, here, take this, go in my tarp tent and just sit there for like 5 minutes and get warm, because you thought you fucking knew what you were doing, but you're too fucking stupid to bring the right amount of gear, and now I gotta fucking fix you. I hope a decent amount of people wash out fast because they didn't bring the right gear, because there's so much information on YouTube on what to bring to this specific event. Aside from my specific channel, there are so many packing videos from Milsim West. I didn't think I'd need that. Did you go on the internet at all from the time you bought a fucking ticket to the time you fucking stepped off to drive to the AO? No? Good. I'm glad you quit. What I'll be wearing is basically the same thing I always wear for my militia kit. I have this little scout shirt that's partisan. It's the Mordor Attack one. It's really good. It's the one, again, it's see-through. It's like the overshirt overlay or whatever, but it's kind of see-through. So like right now, I can see my phone screen. So it's not warm, but there will be times where this is plenty. Under this, I will probably have one of my tried and true Irish shirt, like an undershirt, plus like maybe my blue stripey just for some cool costume effect in there. For pants, again, I'm wearing literally the same thing I wore to Victorville in October. Still rocking the green Idle Gear pants. I'm a big fan of camo top, solid color pants. I just think that looks the coolest, even if it's the black pants, green pants, whatever. Whatever's whatever. I really like it. Fighting gear is still the tried and true Smersh. Mag pouches, and I got my canteens and stuff in here. I have a new compass because the cheapy Amazon one I had was okay, but it would get kind of stuck on itself. So that time that I got really lost coming back from taking a poop in Colorado, I had my little compass on me, but I had to like keep tapping it over and over because it would get stuck. So I'd be like, what way is north? Poof, oh, that way's north. So I have a little bit better quality made compass. I really like these watch compasses. These are super, super helpful, especially if you're in an AO that doesn't have the best phone signal like Clovis. Certain spots, so like the Clovis parking lot, like the little where the riverbed is, where they usually do it in the NATO check-in, I have great service there. I have Verizon. Once we get like across the creek and farther in the field, might as well be on the moon. So when that happens, these compasses are super helpful. When I was talking about like things that I have immediate needs for, they go in this very large, spacious butt pack. So I'll sometimes, so like when we step off, depending on what time of the day it is, if it's getting close to sundown, I'll put my jacket in here. I'll do that. Or I'll put maybe my night vision in here if I don't want to wear it. There's a lot of options that I have to put gear in here instead of in my ruck. That way, everything I would feasibly need to BB fights, I keep it on my person. So if the need arises, I just set my ruck down and advance towards whatever firefight we have to go to with, airsoft BB guns. I am taking I don't have it with me, it's at my store. Taking my E&L AKM with all the cool mods that I've done to it. There's plenty of videos where I'm talking about that. And hopefully, By the time we get to Kharkiv, I'll have an actual AK because I would rather blank fire at Kharkiv than use an airsoft gun. So I'll probably just take my blank rifle, my blank AK, if I get it in time, and not even take an airsoft gun. We'll just kind of see what the vibe is. That is it. That is that's the conclusion of the video. You want to turn around? You want to look at everyone over here? No? He's so camera shy. Hi. Yes. Ow, fuck. Fucking claws. Okay, so that's the video. I don't know what Bo wants. I just fed him, and I just threw the ball with him, and I just took him out. So I am going to go be a slave to my dog. Oh, big stretchy. And I will see you guys at Clovis. If you or someone you know needs someone to go with, my militia group is totally open to people I don't even know. There are people I have never met in my life that know who I am from this and Instagram that are like, hey, I'm going to go with you to Clovis. Like, fucking, okay, I don't know who you are. I'll figure it out. So I take strangers. I don't care. Message me on Instagram, CaberUp916, CABER, or just drop a comment, or you can just email me at jimcaber916@gmail, and I'll square you away. Say bye, Bo. You want to say bye-bye? Say bye-bye to the camera? Okay, that's it. Go away.